Most small business owners have already tried AI. You opened a chat window, typed a question, and got back an answer that was genuinely useful. So you might think you already know what this stuff can do for you. But honestly, that is just the shallow end of the pool. When AI only answers questions in a browser tab, it never actually touches your business. It cannot see your sales spreadsheet, your inbox full of customer messages, your folder of contracts, or the quote templates your team has built up over years. You are still the one doing every bit of the real work. In the next few minutes, I want to show you 5 concrete jobs AI can do for your small business once you move it out of that chat window and let it work on your real files. Chat versus real work. Here is a simple way to picture it. The chat window is what I call level 0. You ask a question, you get an answer, you copy that answer out, and then you go and do the actual task yourself. It is useful, but you are still the worker. Think about how much time you quietly lose to that copy and paste text. You ask for an email, then you reformat it. You ask for a summary, then you go and dig through the documents to check whether it is even right. The AI talks, but you do all the doing. For a lot of owners, that is where AI stops being worth the effort because the admin around it cancels out most of the help it gives you. It feels clever, but it does not actually take work off your plate. You are still the bottleneck. Every answer has to pass back through you before anything real happens. And on a busy week, that bottleneck is exactly the thing you cannot afford. 40 to count word. What level 1 looks like. Level 1 is a different thing entirely. At level 1, the AI lives on your computer, not in a browser tab. You point it at a folder or a file, you tell it what finished result you want, and it goes and does the task and hands the work back to you in a file you can open. Not advice you have to retype, the actual cleaned report, the actual drafted replies, the actual summary sitting on your desktop. To get there, you install a couple of tools, you connect the AI to a folder on your machine, and you run your first small project. That sounds technical, and the first time it takes a bit of setup, but once it is running, it feels less like chatting and more like handing a task to a quietly competent assistant who already knows where your files live. Let me walk through 5 jobs that are genuinely worth handing over. Job 1. Clean reports. Job 1. Turn a messy spreadsheet into a clean summary report. Almost every small business has that one export. The sales file, the orders file, the payments file, full of raw rows that nobody enjoys reading. Picture a small shop with 12 months of orders in one giant sheet. At level 1, you point the AI at that spreadsheet and you say, give me a one-page summary. Total sales by month, the top 10 customers, anything that looks unusual, all in plain language. Instead of you building pivot tables on a Friday night, you get back a tidy report you can actually send to a partner or read in 2 minutes over coffee. The honest limit here is that the AI is only as good as your data. If your columns are a mess or half the cells are blank, you still need to know your own numbers well enough to sanity check what comes back. But for turning raw rows into something a human can read, it is a real time saver. Job 2. Customer replies. Job 2. Read a folder of customer emails or notes and draft organized replies. If you run any kind of service business, you know the inbox never ends. The same questions, slightly different wording, all needing a polite human answer. Imagine a small renovation firm getting 40 inquiries a week, most of them asking the same 3 things. At level 1, you hand the AI that folder of incoming messages and ask it to sort them, group the common questions, and draft a first reply for each one in your tone of voice. You are not letting it hit send. You are getting back a neat stack of drafts that turn an hour of typing into 10 minutes of reading and approving. The key word is draft. You stay in the loop, you check anything sensitive, and you personally fix the ones that need a real human touch. But starting from a solid draft instead of a blank box is the difference between dreading the inbox and clearing it before lunch. Job 3. Summarize documents. Job 3. Summarize a folder of documents into the key points. Contracts, supplier agreements, reports, long PDFs that someone sent you and that you keep meaning to read one day. At level 1, you point the AI at the whole folder and ask for the things that actually matter. The key terms, the dates, the obligations, anything that looks like a risk or a renewal you should not miss. For a busy owner, this is the difference between signing something you only skimmed and actually understanding what you are agreeing to. Now, the honest part, and this one matters. This does not replace your lawyer or your accountant, and you should never treat a summary as the final word on a legal document. Think of it as a fast, careful first read that tells you where to look closely. It points you at the free clauses worth a human eye, instead of you reading 40 pages just to find them. And because it is reading the whole folder at once, it can spot the things that span several documents, like a supplier whose terms quietly changed between last year's agreement and this year's. That kind of cross-checking is slow and boring for a person, and it is exactly where a level 1 setup earns its place. Job 4. Draft proposals. Job 4. Draft a first pass proposal or quote from your own templates and past work. This is the one owners tend to love, because writing proposals is slow and you have done it 100 times before. At level 1, the AI can read your old proposals, your price list, and your standard terms, and then draft a new one for a specific client based on a few details you give it. Because it is working from your real templates and your real past files, the draft sounds like your business, not like generic text scraped off the internet. Say a client asks for a quote on a job you have done before. Instead of starting from a blank document, you give the AI the details and it returns a draft already in your format with your usual sections and your wording. You still set the price, you still make the judgment calls, and you still read every line before it goes out. But you start from 80% done and spend your time on the parts that actually need your brain. For a small team, that can be the difference between sending a quote today and sending it next week. Job 5. Build a skill. Job 5, and this is the one that compounds. Build one small repeatable workflow that your team reuses every week. Once you have done a job like the report cleanup or the proposal draft a few times, you can save those steps as what we call a skill. A skill is just a saved recipe. It remembers your instructions, your format, and your preferences, so next time anyone on your team can run the same job in one step without rewriting anything from scratch. This is where it stops being a clever tool for you and starts being a system for your business. Maybe it is a weekly sales summary that runs every Monday morning. Maybe it is a standard way of drafting replies that everyone on the team uses, so the answers stay consistent no matter who is at the keyboard. The first one takes a bit of effort to set up. After that, it just runs, and the time you save quietly stacks up week after week. One good skill, reused by your whole team, is worth more than 100 clever one-off chats. Most owners I talk to start with one, see it work, and then realize half their week is made of jobs just like it. That is the moment the whole thing clicks, because you stop thinking of AI as a thing you talk to and start thinking of it as a part of how the business runs, being honest about limits. Now let me be straight with you, because I build these systems and I would rather you trust me than walk away disappointed. AI gets things wrong. It can misread a number, miss a nuance, or write something confidently that is simply not right. That is exactly why everything I described keeps you in the loop. It drafts, you approve. It summarizes, you verify the important parts. You would not let a brand new hire send contracts or quotes without checking their work first, and you treat this the same way. Used like that, as a fast first pass that a human reviews, it is genuinely useful and it gives you hours back. Treat it as an oracle you blindly trust, it will eventually embarrass you in front of a customer. The owners who really win with this are not the ones chasing the hype. They are the ones who pick a few boring, repetitive jobs and quietly hand them over. Where to start? So where do you actually start? You do not need to be technical, and you do not need to overhaul anything you already do. You just need to get from level 0, the chat window, to level 1, the AI working on your real files. We put together a free step-by-step course that walks you through exactly that. It shows you how to install Claude on your computer, set up a tool called Warp, run your first real project using your own files, and build that first simple skill your team can reuse. It is the same path I would set up for a business I was helping in person, just laid out so you can follow it yourself at your own pace. If you want it, head to afirstasia.com/level1. And if these are the kind of practical, no-hype AI workflows you want for your business, subscribe, because that is exactly what this channel is about. Pick one job, hand it over, and see what your week looks like when the boring parts start running themselves.